Hey darlings, welcome back to my channel. Thank you very much for being here. If you are new to my channel, please kindly subscribe and turn on your notification bells so that you don't miss any of my tutorials. So in today's video, I'm going to quickly show you how to make this simple dress. So it's very casual and it's very easy to make. So to make this, you're going to start off with marking out your indication lines, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So now I'm going to be marking on paper because if I mark on fabric, the patterns on it will be distorted. So just know that you can mark stretch on your fabric. Now after making these indication lines, as you can see here at the top, I marked out ½ inch before I started placing the measurement. So the next line I marked was at 11 inches, and then I didn't mark any line for waistline measurement because it's not required here. Then this is the hip line, then the full length line, then I added my 2 inches for hemming allowance. So you can either add to the length or reduce it depending on where you want the length of yours to be. So now after marking this, as you can see before the center front, we have ½ inch right here. This is because I'm going to be using two different fabrics for this project. So this ½ inch is just for sewing allowance. So now after doing this, the next thing we are going to do now is to place the tape on the center front line. Then you mark in half of your shoulder measurement, and then from that shoulder measurement you marked, you're going to be marking the length of the sleeve you want to put. I want mine to be 10 inches, but I'm going to be marking 8.5 here, and I'm going to use a different material to make it up to 10 inches. So here I'm going to mark it the slant line at 2 inches. Then I'm going to connect it down with a straight line, as you can see right here. Now for the neckline, I'm going to be marking the width at 4 inches right here, measuring from the center front line. Then for the depth, I'm going to be leaving it at 7 inches because I want to mark a semi V-neck. So I'm going to connect it together. And then from the shoulder line, I'm going to be connecting it to the point of the sleeve length. And from this point, you're going to be measuring your round sleeve divided into 2. Make sure you add at least ½ inch ease in order to make this area free, not to be so tight. So from this point, I'm going to be connecting the sleeve together. Here at this point, you're going to be adding 1 inch to 1.5 to 1/4 of your bust measurement to create the bubu effect for this way. So from this sleeve area, you're going to be connecting to that point right there. Then at the hip measurement also, we're going to be using the same formula. You're going to be adding 1 inch to 1.5 inch to the actual 1/4 of your hip measurement right here. Then here at the full length, I'm going to be adding only ½ inch to the actual hip measurement. 1/4 of the hip measurement, you add ½ inch to it and mark there at the full length line. Then I'm going to connect the side seam. Then here at the hip line, I'm going to be measuring down at least 2.5 inches below with a straight line. Then I'm going to connect this to the full length. This is to avoid sharp point at the hip line area to create a pier effect. Then I'll extend it to the hemming line. Then at the shoulder line area, I'm going to mark ½ inch above this area for seam allowance. Then I'm going to add ½ inch to the side seam for seam allowance also. Then after doing this, I have to cut it out and use it to cut out my pieces. Then for the back piece, the neck area is a little bit different. Now remember, we have ½ inch right here before the center back. So right here, the width is still 4 inches as the front. Then from the top area right here, I'm going to be measuring down 2 inches. And from this point, I'm going to connect it all the way to this point. You can make the back neck of yours differently depending on your taste. Now to cut out the facing for the back and front neckline, I'm going to be measuring 10 inches length. And then the width is about 7 inches from this point to this point. And take note, I'm cutting this on fold. Then the next thing you're going to do now is to place your pattern or the front piece you've cut out on this piece of paper for the facing. Then the next thing you're going to do is to make sure that this ½ inch is not part of this. As you can see here, it's outside the folding line. So now I'm going to be marking this out and cut it out, and when I'm done, it's going to look like this. And for the back piece, we are going to do the same. I'm going to be placing my back piece on the facing paper or facing fabric, I'm going to let this 1/2 inch joining go off the fabric, and I'm going to cut this out. Now, the first thing you're going to do is to join your front pieces together with the 1/2 inch. Then place your facing right side to each other. You do same for the back as well. Then you sew on your facing and notch it after sewing. Then after that, you're going to turn it inside out. And when you're done with that, you're going to be sewing the facing onto the fabric. Then you can as well top stitch if you wish to. Now, to complete the length of the sleeve, you're going to be measuring this area to be the same with 1/2 of your round sleeve. Then you're going to first of all mark out 1/2 inch right here for joining the sleeve to the main fabric. Then from this point, you're going to measure out 2 inches also for completion of the sleeve length. And then from this point as well, I measured out 2 inches for hemming allowance. So now I'm going to cut 4 pieces of this, 2 for the back and 2 for the front. And after cutting this, to sew in the sleeve to the main fabric, this is the wrong side of the fabric, okay, while this is the right side of your sleeve piece. So now you're going to be joining this together by joining the right side of the sleeve piece to the wrong side of your main fabric. Then you're going to stitch it together with 1/2 inch. Now after sewing this is how it's going to look like. Then the next thing you are going to do is to turn to the right side of your fabric. As you can see right there, you're going to fold 1/2 inch like this, and then you're going to iron this one into the hemming allowance, then bind it together like this, and you're going to stitch it up. So now you're going to do this for 4 sides of this, and when you're done sewing this, it should look something like this. Both the back and front piece should look as neat as this. So over to the pocket pieces. So the full length of my pocket piece is 13.5. That incorporates all the measurements that we also need. Then the width is about 10.5 inches. So right here, I'm going to be using 1.5 to hem the upper part and 1/2 inch for the lower part. So I'm going to show you how to fold, iron and sew the sleeve onto your main fabric. Now you're going to start off with folding 1/2 inch, then folding 1 inch. Then you're going to sew along the top area. Note that this is the wrong side of your fabric. So now the next thing you're going to do now after stitching this is to iron in 1/2 inch from both sides of the pocket, and also you're going to iron in 1/2 inch from below the pocket piece like this, as you can see. Then it's ready to be sewn to the main piece. So here you decide where you want your patch pocket to be, but I measured about 17 to 18 inches from the shoulder line area down before placing the pocket, measuring about 2 inches from the center front, pin up my pocket. Then I'm going to stitch from this point to this point, and then to the other end and to this point. And then for the other side of the pocket, you can sew it any way you wish to also. It all depends on you. But I measured down about 11 inches and then stitched my pocket. Now the next thing I did was to place the back side to the front side, right side to each other. And I'm going to join it by the shoulder area with 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to join the side seams as well. Then the next thing I'm going to do after joining the side seam is to hem the bottom part of my dress, and it's almost ready. Now the last and final touch is to notch the armpit area from the wrong side of your dress to make sure that when you turn this to the right side, everything remains relaxed. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, and if you have any question, please leave it on the comment section below. Don't forget to check out my other tutorials. If you are yet to subscribe to my channel, please kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell so that you don't miss any of my tutorials. And all the featured tutorials I have on this particular video, I'll be leaving the link of all of it on the comment section below, the first comment on the comment section below, and also on the description box below. So if you like anything or any featured tutorial here, you check the link in the description box below. It will take you directly to the tutorial of these featured videos. So I'll see you guys in my next tutorial. Take care of yourselves. Bye.